besides Shohei's ability, which I think is evident when you see him out in the field and you watch scouting video on him, he's like any 23-year-old in our camp. He's excited to play baseball. He's working very hard, and we're excited to have him.
When he became available, we thought that he could be a good fit for us. Obviously, he's done a lot of damage over his career. Was in the best shape of his life a year ago, and it showed defensively.
Certainly tomorrow with games starting and trying to get into that good routine and where we're getting our work in. But yeah, there'll be a little excitement, with the crowd and pinstripes and actually playing a game and playing another team. Yeah, I think that's get some juices flowing to that.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, baseball is back. You are taking a live look at George M. Steinbrenner Field there in Tampa, Florida. Tigers and the Yankees, 1:05 p.m. start time. Aaron Judge is out as he is rehabbing that shoulder. Giancarlo Stanton is in, though, and he is hitting second. You're going to see Greg Bird and Didi Gregorius. You can also catch Miguel Andujar and Gleyber Torres. If you are a Yankees fan, you are super excited, as are the rest of us, because baseball is back. Hey, everyone, welcome to 1225 Live. I'm Alexa Datt, and I'm telling you, this smile on my face will not leave for the entire day, because I'm just so excited that we finally get to see some live action. We've been talking about this all off season, and it's finally here. We're going to be live down in West Palm Beach. We're going to talk to Jamal Collier about the Nationals. What is Bryce Harper going to do with all of this pressure to win in his walk year? Is he going to stay with the Nationals or not? And is there a chance that Max Scherzer wins his 4th career Cy Young this season? So much there for the Nationals to discuss. We're also going to talk to Mark Feinsand, who is also in West Palm. We're going to talk to him about Brent Honeywell, who potentially could need Tommy John surgery. He's going to go for a second opinion. We're also going to discuss just what this spring training action means while we still have some free agents out there on the market. So a lot to get to today on the show. We're going to start the show today with our spring training video of the day, and this comes to us from the Red Sox. This is from Jackie Bradley Jr., and here's how he gets ready for spring training.
What's up, everybody? This is how I'll get ready for games. Showtime.
Woo, a little magic there from JBJ. We like this. Red Sox opening their spring, hosting the Twins at 1:05 p.m., by the way, at JetBlue Park. Alex Cora, making his managerial debut, said the Sox are not going to reveal too much in the opener, as we can all expect, but it'll still be fun to see the new-look Red Sox in that lineup and see how that all plays out. All right, we've been talking a lot about the Japanese Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani, and what he's going to mean to this Angels team. He is going to make his spring debut on Saturday. He's going to face the Brewers. I know a lot of people are gearing up to see him. I know that's what I'm going to be doing on Saturday. Hopefully you are too, because not only have we heard so much about him, we haven't really seen him live. So we'll be able to see him against live batters, and that'll be a lot of fun. By the way, a lot of his teammates spoke about what they've seen from him this spring, especially in the clubhouse, but on the field as well. Take a listen.
Ohtani's been unbelievable. You watch him hit BP, hitting bombs and scoring up balls, and you got to think that he still throws 100 too. So it's just going to be a challenge for him, but I think he's up for it.
Well, it's great. It's a great addition to our ball club. So it's it's really fun. Really good guy to have in the clubhouse, and it's going to be a fun season. So hopefully he can get to adjust to transfer from Japan to here.
He just, he's always happy. That's one thing I've kind of noticed. He's always smiling. It seems like he's excited to be here, and we're excited to have him. Obviously, a guy with an arm like that and a guy who can hit for power like that. What's not exciting about that? So, I'm ready. I'm ready to get going with him, and I think the guys are the same way.
Well, it's been great. I think besides Shohei's ability, which I think is evident when you see him out in the field and you've watched scouting video on him, he's like any 23-year-old in our camp. He's excited to play baseball. He's working very hard, and we're excited to have him.
Well, he's got a great skill set. So I'm throwing a little bit of a bullpen, and I've taken BP with him pretty much every day. So, the bat's impressive. What he can do with the bat, and it makes it even more impressive that he pitches too. So, but more than that, he's enjoying his time being here, and he's fitting in with the group pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of excitement for Shohei Ohtani, and we are just about 24 hours away from seeing him on the mound for the first time here in the States. So everyone's gearing up for that, and we are really excited. All right, our question of the day that we are asking you today here on the show, it is National Rationalization Day, if you can say that 5 times fast. And what you have to do is rationalize why you believe your team is going to win the World Series. Now, listen, if you're a Yankees fan, you probably think that's easy. But if you're a Phillies fan, give me some reasons why. Tell me because it's the prospects. Tell me because Carlos Santana is going to come through. Tell me why your team is going to win the World Series. Rationalize it for me and give me some actual good reasons why it's going to happen, and we'll share those with you a little bit later on in the show. So go head over to Facebook and make sure you fill that out for us. All right, time for us to head to West Palm Beach right now, and minutes before they take the field for their Grapefruit League opener, Jamal Collier was nice enough to join us. Jamal, I really appreciate that. I want to start with this story that obviously absolutely rocked the nation last week with the shooting in Florida, and I know that MLB is participating in, a tribute to honor the victims there as well as their families, and I know that everyone's going to be wearing the Stoneman Douglas hats, and that's going to be something I know the Nationals are participating in as well.
Yeah, the Nationals actually wore those, through the morning workouts. They've been wearing them all day, and during their they've been doing the pregame Circle of Trust meeting, which is new under manager Dave Martinez, and they held a moment of silence and kind of lifted those caps up, at the end of it, for the people involved and the victims of that kind of tragedy there. The Nats have been touched by being able to participate and wear this. And I hear that some of the potential coaches and players from high school as well might be down here for the start of this game as well. So it's a small gesture, but something that the Nats are kind of proud to participate in.
Yeah, and obviously I know not only the nation was rocked, the entire state of Florida was really affected by this. We saw Anthony Rizzo, go down there and speak at a memorial. So it's definitely something that has touched baseball, and it's nice to see them honor the victims and their families. All right, a lot of people are talking about the Astros, Red Sox, and Yankees because they all made some big moves this offseason. Nationals didn't make any big moves, though, Jamal. So is there a chance that this Nationals team is flying under the radar coming into this season?
It's something I've actually been thinking about a little bit as we start this spring, and I think they are. There seems to be a couple of tiers. Obviously, there's a handful of teams in baseball right now that you can point to that are kind of the class of the league right now. But there seems to be a different tier where the Cubs and Dodgers, the Astros, and probably the Yankees are in that. The Nationals seem to be kind of on that next step down, which is an odd thing to say for a team that obviously won 97 games. They've won the division as 2 years in a row. They have all the stars that are coming back. The team is basically the same here. But I think that, just because of that, they haven't gotten over that playoff hump, and they've had these great regular seasons and not been able to turn into more wins in October. I think that's why perhaps, and obviously not making anything major during the offseason as well. They had a couple signings. Most of them were smaller. Matt Adams, Howie Kendrick, some of the guys that we'll see playing today. But yeah, I think definitely going in, the Nats are a bit underrated, and they kind of like it. They're fine flying under the radar and taking care of their business and hoping to be there again in October for another shot at this.
All right, so a Nationals fan's biggest fear, obviously, is that Bryce Harper leaves after this season. This impending free agency is putting a lot of pressure on this team, and I know on Bryce Harper, too. How is he going to handle the pressure this season, do you think?
I really don't think it's going to affect Bryce much. I mean, this is a guy, obviously, who has been, since he was 16 years old. He's on the cover of SI. He's been in the spotlight. He's been, there's been pressure on him for a while, and he's still had the career that he's had to this point. That I really don't think that anything this year is going to change. I think he knows if he goes out there, if he's healthy, has plays at 150 games and he'll put the kind of production that we've seen to become used to from him that he was doing before he got hurt last year, a couple years ago, the MVP season. And if he does that, and if he is, a candidate again for the most valuable player, we'll be talking about he'll be able to write his own check essentially as far as the offseason. So I wouldn't put too much into pressure for Bryce. I think he handles that as well as anybody I've seen in the game.
All right, speaking of Harper and MVP, tell me what's more likely to happen this season. Do you think Harper wins his second MVP award or Max Scherzer wins his fourth Cy Young?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, Max obviously has been so good in the last couple of years. I'd probably go with Bryce still, just because he was probably on the way to not being the MVP, being kind of, definitely being a top, finalist last year before he got hurt. And just the numbers that he's capable of putting up and the way he can impact a game and a team and a season. I would lean toward him, but I mean, kind of spoiled a little bit. They've got a good chance that both of those things happen. Clayton Kershaw's also in the way for Max too. If he does stay healthy, he's always a candidate there. But it's a chance that both of them could happen. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. Here's another player comparison for you. Last year, Gio Gonzalez finished 6th in the NL Cy Young vote, and Anthony Rendon finished 6th in the NL MVP vote. Which one do you think finishes higher on their respective lists for 2018?
It's another tough one. I mean, Rendon is probably the guy who looks like he's still on that upswing of his career, and he's been so good, especially last year and the last couple of years, that when he's healthy and he's on the field every day, we know the kind of production that he can put up. I would probably bet on him, even though the MVP race is probably going to be a little bit more crowded when you talk about, the guys that finished up there at the top last season. But Rendon continues to seemingly get better. He focused on driving the ball a lot more last year, so we saw the power numbers kind of uptick a little bit. I expect that to kind of continue, as he goes. And I mean, this guy's just a really good all-around player. I would go with Rendon, and that's not to slight Gio. Gio had one of his best years in a while last year, and I'm not sure he's going to repeat exactly that to keep going forward.
Yeah, Gio has had some pretty awesome years, but it'll be cool to see how this year goes, especially, you've got Strasburg and Scherzer and Tanner Roark there. When you talk about this rotation, and I know a lot of hype has been around, the Astros and the Cubs because they made offseason additions in the rotation, but where does this Nationals rotation rank right now in baseball to you?
Thank you very much.
It's one of the best. I mean, when you talk about the guys that are at the top of this rotation, and Strasburg and Scherzer, it's. I mean, there's no duo in baseball that I probably would take over them. I mean, Max, obviously, the two-time Cy Young winner, what Strasburg did in the postseason last year was just so incredible. And again, Gio and Tanner have been really good and really strong players as well. For these guys as well, and the fifth spot still got some question marks, but this rotation is as good. You can stack them up against anybody, and that's one of the reasons the Nats are so confident going into this season. If they feel like every fifth day they're going to have a very good chance to win because of the guy they put out on the mound.
All right, give us some health and injury updates, most notably Adam Eaton and Daniel Murphy. How important is the health of these two guys to the success of this team?
Yeah, I mean, both of them are going to play big roles. Adam Eaton is so far so good. He's been participating in full workouts. He's been, fly balls in the outfield. He's been taking live BP. He's been running around, and it looks great. He's kind of chomping at the bit here to get into game action. They still want to be cautious with him and not put too much on him too soon. But Eaton is so far looks really good, and he should be good for opening day. Murphy as well is on target. He's doing a lot less than Eaton is right now. He's not necessarily running much, kind of running on a treadmill right now. He's taking some grounders from his knees, really kind of limited as far as baseball activities, but he's still a long way to go here in the spring. He's still confident that he can get back to where he needs to be before opening day. The biggest thing with Murphy is that once he gets healthy and comes off the DL, he wants to be off the DL. He doesn't want to have to go back on and this a prolonged thing here. So far so good for both of them right now. The Nats feel they're both on schedule and on track where they need to be.
All right, let's talk about the new skipper for this team. Dave Martinez making his managerial debut today in their Grapefruit League opener versus the defending champs. That'll be pretty fun for him. For him, he was under Joe Maddon for so long, for 10 years between Tampa and Chicago. Did he take any of those quirky things that Joe Maddon did and kind of copy them for camp? I know, Joe Maddon had a petting zoo at one time, and he has the guys all dress up for road trips. Any of that kind of translate to D.C.?
Not yet. We haven't seen any huge pythons or anything in the clubhouse just yet, which I'm glad for. But Dave, a lot of that style, a lot of the things we saw over the last couple of years, especially in Chicago, was a combination of Dave as well. And I think that as the season goes on, sometimes and even as the spring goes on, to essentially break up the monotony or break up whatever it might be during spring training, we might see Dave start to do little things a little bit more creative or whatever it might be. So far, he's trying to put his personality into Nats camp as much as possible. We've seen the music. He's a huge fan of music, and they've incorporated music during their stretch routines and during their workouts. The Circle of Trust is kind of been a fun little thing for them so far. So we've seen a little bit, some hints of Dave's personality so far. And I'm interested and curious to see how it kind of progresses as the season and the spring goes on. But so far so good. It's been a fun camp and a relaxed camp so far for the Nats.
By the way, you mentioned music. I heard Harper got his chance to DJ a little bit in the clubhouse, and he played some old school hip hop. Did you play anything good?
Oh, a lot of good stuff. Some Eazy-E, which is first of my favorite stuff, and it was pretty good. I mean, it was we were all wondering who exactly was in charge. We didn't know it was Harper at the beginning when all these old school songs were playing, and then Bob Henley, Bob Henley, the third base coach, knew a lot of the words to a lot of those songs that you wouldn't have expected. So it kind of threw everybody off guard a little bit.
I love that. Speaking of Bryce Harper, it's kind of been the story, right? Everyone's talking about his impending free agency, obviously, except for Bryce Harper. He doesn't really want to discuss it. But if he ends up leaving this Nationals team tier, how are they going to fill that role? Who's going to be the guy that's going to step up? Brooks, who obviously, by the way, is watching us here on Facebook, wants to know this as well.
Yeah, it's very difficult to replace a player of the caliber of Bryce. We're talking about one of the handful of best players in baseball. I think that the Nationals do have a lot. Outfield is one of their deepest positions as far as just in the organization. Obviously, Victor Robles being their top prospect, one of the best prospects in baseball, is kind of a natural guy who could slide into that spot if they don't have Bryce going forward. But they have a couple of options, guys they like. Rafael Bautista, Andrew Stevenson, guys who can play well in the outfield. And then Juan Soto, of course, is a little bit further away. He's their number 2 prospect. So, it's the outfield is one of the few spots, or one of the spots I think they're best absorbed to. The organization is best equipped, I should say, to absorb a blow. That being said, replacing a player like Bryce Harper would be a very difficult thing, if and when if they get to that point.
It was funny. I was listening to Didi Gregorius the other day talk about replacing Derek Jeter and how those were such huge shoes to fill, and everyone, really hated on Didi early on and said his defense wasn't good enough, and you'll never be the captain. And now look at him. Didi is one of the best players on that team, and he is a beloved member of the Yankee staff. So you never know what could happen. Across baseball, this kind of stuff happens all of the time when people really freak out for no reason. But we'll see. All right, Carter said, do you see Matt Adams getting 400, 500 ABs, and what kind of numbers do you think he's going to have?
I don't know necessarily the number of ABs. I think ideally they'd probably like a little bit less than that, because if he's hitting that many times, then it means somebody probably got hurt. Essentially look at what Adam Lynn did last year. I think that he almost fits pretty naturally into that role. You talk about a guy who would be the backup first baseman for Zim. You got a guy who they are going to try it in left field at some point during the spring. He's going to probably take some batting practice and kind of get more comfortable there. So they would like him to be able to just do a little bit of both, and then of course be your left-handed pinch hitting option off the bench. That's really where they would like him to kind of provide the power there. But I think Lynn was somewhere around 300 or so last year. I think that's about where they would like for Matt Adams to be. But he's a guy that they're pretty excited about too. Some of the adjustments he's made already with Kevin Long in the first week and a half or so of spring, he's pretty excited about that. He thinks going to help him become a better hitter and a matchup player against lefties as well.
All right, sounds good. Jamal, baseball is back. I'm so excited, man. This is crazy.
Got a baseball game here in about a half an hour.
I know,
it's going to be pretty
wild.
fun.
Tommy Malone, good luck to him. I know he's on the mound today, so hopefully he can potentially win a spot in that rotation. We'll see. All right, Jamal, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Take care. All right, we've been missing Danny Wexman all week. She's been down in Florida doing an excellent job zigzagging across the state of Florida, covering all spring training camps for us. She was down in Bradenton talking with the Pirates the other day, and she was specifically talking to Trevor Williams, who is one of our favorites on social media. But unfortunately for us, he gave up social media for Lent. Listen, I get it, but man, we totally missed it. So she wanted to talk to him a little bit about what that meant and, how that's going to play out for the rest of the year for him. Take a listen.
I'm here with Trevor Williams, who is the real social savant. I am not the social savant. It's this guy here. We love him on 1225, so I've got him here with me, and we're going to read some tweets from his teammates and see if he can guess who they are. Do you have any encouraging words for yourself?
Do good, Trevor. That's all I got. We have good tweeters on the team. There's some sneaky ones that don't get enough credit, so this is a big responsibility for me.
Okay, here we go with the first one. Whoever won Best Supporting in '89 straight stole it. Sam Elliott got robbed.
Who was alive in '89? George Contos? I don't know. Who would say that?
David Freese.
See, he only tweets like 3 things a year.
I got delayed by 4 hours and missed my connecting flight today. Then I realized all the good things I have in my life and thanked God. Then I decided that I'd throw it all away not to get delayed in the airport.
That's profound. That's a good statement. Steven said that? Gosh, I gotta talk to him. Don't throw it away for a not delayed flight.
Stoked for the new episode of Gotham tonight.
I don't know who watches Gotham.
Or says stoked.
Who says stoked? Stoked. Who says stoked? No one on our team says stoked. Adam Frazier. Who watches Gotham? I have no idea.
Chad Cool. Chad Cool apparently. Chad Cool said it.
Oh my gosh.
Blown away by the X Games, athletes can't ski or snowboard, but if there's ever a snowball competition added, let me know.
It's Jameson. Because I was super jealous you got to go to the X Games this year. That's one thing I've always wanted to do, and when I found out he was going to the X Games, I got really jealous. I think he was rubbing it in my face with his tweets.
Did you favorite it?
I only have one favorite. I only favorite one thing. So
what is that?
It's the San Diego or LA Chargers. Before Twitter, someone else had like Chargers at Chargers, and it says, "I'm so hungry, I need to find my wife and head to PF Chang's." But it says like LA Chargers.
Any words you'd like to say to Twitter?
I will be back on Easter. I will be back on Easter.
Oh my gosh, Trevor, we miss you so much on Twitter. Come back ASAP. Danny, thank you so much for putting that together. You're a rock star as always. All right, time for our question of the day. It is National Rationalization Day. Again, that's impossible to say, so I'm patting myself on the back for being able to pull that off. So rationalize why you think your team is going to win the 2018 World Series. Give me some really good reasons why. Actually, think about it and rationalize it. Think it through and come up with some really poignant answers for us, and we're going to read those. By the way, go over to Facebook and fill that out, and then we'll read it later on the show. All right, time for us to welcome in our next guest, Mark Feinsand, for a little bit of Feinsand or not Feinsand. Mark, baseball is back. Feinsand or not Feinsand?
Absolutely Feinsand. Games are on today. Players are back on the field. Absolutely Feinsand.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I've been grinning ear to ear all day long because the off season is over and we finally have some actual, live action to talk about. So I'm thrilled. So let's go through some of these Feinsand or not Feinsands. The JD Martinez deal is still not official. The team is examining his physical. A few raised eyebrows, though, because he missed 33 games at the beginning of last year with an injury. Everything Feinsand or not Feinsand with this situation?
Everything's Feinsand. I think this is a matter of doctors not being in the right place or having to wait a day or two for certain things to happen. But it doesn't sound like there's any complications. When a team signs a guy to a contract of this magnitude, they're going to make sure that everything's good to go. So if it just takes an extra day or two to, get the right doctors in the right place to look at the right MRIs or whatever it may be, that's only natural.
I think it's also interesting, too, because a lot of people had JD Martinez penciled into the Red Sox earlier on in the postseason, or in the offseason, excuse me. So for them, it's almost like, what's taking so long? We waited so long for this deal to really even, come to an agreement. So the fact that it's not official yet, come on, really, what are we doing here? So hopefully that is announced soon. All right, Twins GM Thad Levine said Miguel Sano's conditioning lags behind because he is recovering from an injury this season. Feinsand or not Feinsand with the way he's starting this spring?
I would say not Feinsand. I mean, you don't want to have a guy come in off the offseason and already, not be in shape. So, especially a young guy, that's the time in your career where you're supposed to be at your peak shape. So, not a great start for him, but obviously a very talented player. And, I guess that's what spring training is for. Everybody always says spring training is for the pitchers more than anybody else to get their arms in shape. But this gives them, 5 weeks or so to get him in peak condition and get him ready for the season.
Yeah, they say he gained some weight after rehabbing from that left shin surgery. But if the Twins are going to make magic just like they did last year, they're going to need everyone at peak condition. Rays top prospect Brent Honeywell left BP yesterday after about 10 pitches with right forearm injury. He's going to go for a second opinion, but it's looking like he's going to need Tommy John surgery. Man, everything Feinsand or not Feinsand with this, Mark?
Not Feinsand. This is one of the top pitching prospects in the entire game. And he really put on a show last year in the Futures game. Everybody was very excited about him. And even as the Rays have made all these trades, he's been one of the bright spots that people have been looking forward to at Tampa Bay. So,
All right, we lost Mark there for just a second. We're going to try and get him back. But as we wait for that, we want to talk about some of the teams or some of the guys that traded teams or came to new teams, this offseason. And now they're in their new jerseys for photo day. And it was pretty fun to see some of these guys rocking their new look. So let's take a look at the former Marlins. Obviously, we got Giancarlo Stanton in pinstripes. It's pretty interesting watching him next to Aaron Judge because he is dwarfed by Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is still a lot bigger. Christian Yelich. Man, look at that Brewers gear. Looking pretty good, although I do miss the bright, orange and teal of the Miami Marlins. Then you got Eric Hosmer out there in San Diego, signing that big deal with the Padres. Looking good there. Got that smile. He's excited. Taking that to the bank. And how about the Giants with a couple of big splashes? Those guys look excited, ready to go. Andrew McCutchen and Evan Longoria. By the way, we saw Kutch hit a BP home run off of Mad Bum the other day, so we know that he is in tip-top shape. He's ready to see some live game action, I'm sure. By the way, last one here we wanted to show you was Hector Santiago. He made his own jersey for photo day back there with the White Sox, and unfortunately, the deal wasn't announced before photo day in time to get him an official jersey. He went ahead and made one himself, so I thought that was pretty cool. All right, time for us to head back to Tampa as we talk to Mark Feinsand. And we are going to welcome Mark Feinsand back into the show. All right. All right, we are actually going live to Tampa right now as we're taking a look at George M. Steinbrenner Field here in Tampa, Florida. The Tigers and Yankees are going to face off at 1:05 p.m. today. Like we mentioned, Aaron Judge is out. He is rehabbing that shoulder just a little bit, and they want to make sure that he is okay. But we are going to see Giancarlo Stanton hitting second, which is going to be a lot of fun. If you're a Yankees fan, you're going to see Greg Bird. You're going to see Didi Gregorius. You're also going to catch Miguel Andujar, who is trying to make this roster, and Gleyber Torres, so that'll be pretty cool. You're going to have Luis Cessa and Ryan Carpenter on the mound, so a lot to look forward to as we get geared up for action today. All right, we are going to also talk a little bit about some of the, you guys are submitting answers. Yes, this is what we asked for. Okay, excellent. National Rationalization Day is today, and we're asking a lot of people who you want to win the World Series and how your team's going to win the World Series, giving me a couple of answers. So, Renee said the Angels will win the World Series because they will finally stay healthy and they have the best player in baseball, okay? The health is the biggest thing, especially for that rotation. If Garrett Richards can stay healthy, I'm telling you, these Angels, they definitely have a shot at the wild card, and I think that could be really fun. And yes, one of the best players in baseball, if not the best player in Mike Trout, and seeing him in the postseason would be just phenomenal. It's what all of baseball would be dying to see. You also got Carter, who said the Cardinals will win the World Series because Marcell Ozuna and Tommy Pham each hit over 30 home runs, okay? Carlos Martinez wins the Cy Young. Miles Michaelis turns out to be the best free agent signing this year, the Lizard King, as he also is eating lizards. And Patrick Wisdom comes up from AAA and mashes. Wow, Carter, you are a huge Cardinals fan and know your team very well. Well done there, and all great rational reasons for why the Cardinals could win the World Series. We would love to see that. All right, it is time for us to welcome Mark Feinsand back to the show. We fixed all of those technical difficulties. Mark, sorry about that. But let's go ahead and continue with Feinsand or not Feinsand. You know, we're talking about the Yankees there. They're going to be joined by Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson on Monday, who put out a cool video saying that he was excited to have a little bit of a home run derby in BP against Aaron Judge. Are you Feinsand or not Feinsand with the fact that you're going to miss that and won't be there live to see it?
I am not Feinsand with that. I would love to see that. Spring training is very monotonous at times, and you see the same thing every day. So getting to see a Super Bowl winning quarterback throwing a home run derby against the Rookie of the Year and a guy who hit 52 home runs, that would certainly be an entertaining few hours or so, or a few hours. That'd be a pretty long home run derby. A few minutes anyway.
Oh my gosh, hours? Fans would pay money to see this for hours. Come on, this would be the highlight of the day.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, the numbers would be through the roof. By the way, everyone's calling Aaron Judge and Brandon Drury Judge and Jury. Are you into this nickname? Is this Feinsand or not Feinsand?
Not Feinsand. I am not at all. I mean, Brandon Drury hasn't played a game with the Yankees yet. It's unclear, sort of exactly how much he'll play or what his role is going to be. You want to make a nickname, get it for a couple of guys who are going to be stars on your team. Come up with something for Judge and Stanton or Judge and Sanchez or whatever it may be. But I know it fits in terms of the name, but I'm not sure Brandon Drury has sort of risen to the level of earning the co-nickname with Aaron Judge just yet.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I also just don't think they sound that much alike. Drury and jury, to me, are two completely separate words. I mean, I guess if you say them fast enough or after a few cocktails, but that's for somebody else to do, not me.
I'm okay with it. If Drury becomes a big-time player with the Yankees, I'm fine. The nickname itself I actually like. I just don't think we're quite ready for Brandon Drury to be at that level to be given a nickname. I think if you're trying to sell Judge and Drury shirts, you're really banking on the Aaron Judge fans to go out there and buy those shirts.
Yeah, absolutely. A little too soon. All right, meanwhile, Tim Tebow is showing no mercy to the roof of the storage unit there in Port St. Lucie. Anthony DiComo said Tebow's power is legitimate because he is hitting them there off that roof. Should Mets fans be Feinsand or not Feinsand with Tim Tebow grabbing all these Mets headlines?
Oh, absolutely Feinsand, because the more headlines that Tim Tebow grabs, the less the rest of the team has to sort of be in the spotlight and have extra pressure and extra expectations placed on them. So, nobody expects Tebow to be on this team, certainly at the start of the year. I know Sandy Alderson said he thinks that Tebow, will be in the majors at some point. That remains to be seen. But always let the headlines, let the pressure go to the guy who isn't really expected to do much. Let Matt Harvey and Noah Syndergaard and Jacob deGrom and all those guys just sort of lay back and let Tebow, sort of take the front line on the headlines.
All right, and final one. Spring training games start today, and you got Jake Arrieta, who is still without a home. Is everything Feinsand or not Feinsand if he doesn't find a home before opening day?
Wait, you said at the beginning of this that the offseason was over. We're still talking about free agency. That is not Feinsand. I would say not Feinsand. I'm sure he's working out at the Forest Institute and getting himself in shape, but it's different when you're not working out with your team and your pitching coach and your catchers. There's a little bit of catch-up that's going to have to be played, whenever he does finally sign. So if he doesn't sign until the season starts, even if his arm strength is close to where it should be, it's going to take a little while. It's not like he's going to be able to sign and go start a game the next day. So, the sooner Jake Arrieta can sign a contract and get with the team, obviously, the more ready he'll be once the season starts.
Well, and JD Martinez proved to us that these free agents this offseason have been itching to get back on the field because he was in Red Sox camp before the deal was even official, right? So you could expect that Jake Arrieta would feel the exact same way. He's like, man, I'm ready to just step on the field. Let me know where to go, and I'm there. So hopefully, fingers crossed that he finds somewhere soon. Mark?
We always hear about how these guys are creatures of habit. Their habit is to be at a camp in February, by Valentine's Day. So I'm sure Arrieta is itching to get back out there and, join his teammates, join his team, get to know his new teammates, et cetera. I would imagine that he would probably be very happy the sooner he can sign.
Absolutely. All right, everything's always fine, Sam, Mark, when you're on the show. Appreciate you joining us.
Except for our connection, apparently, but we'll get that fixed next time.
You know what? It's technology. That's never fine, Sam.
Thanks, Alexa.
See you, Mark. All right, we want to continue with our National Rationalization Day. We've got everyone who's sending in all kinds of cool rationalizations as to why their team is going to win the World Series. And these are actually rational answers, so I love this. You guys followed through with your homework assignment. Great. All right, Brooke said the Rockies win the World Series because they have two MVP candidates, Charlie Blackmon and Nolan Arenado. Yes, you are correct about both of those. Now, with a boosted bullpen, they are the sleeping team to watch out for in baseball. Yes, you are 100% correct, Brooks. That is a great answer. Sean said the Red Sox, the pitchers are healthy, Price, Sale, Pomerantz, and Porcello. In the pen, they've got Thornburg and Smith. Mookie, Xander, Benny, and Devers do what they are capable of doing, and just dingers. JD Martinez joins this team and carries them to a World Series. Love it, love it, love it. All of those are fantastic, and honestly, it's going to be the health of the starting rotation that's going to carry this team, so hopefully that stays put. Also, you got Craig Kimbrell, and he's not too shabby. Ethan said, I don't have to rationalize my team. Ooh, Ethan, all right. He said the Indians win the World Series. We got Rajai Davis back. Okay, it's a good omen. We're one of the best teams in the American League, best bullpens with Andrew Miller and Cody Allen, and we can win it all. You didn't even mention the starting rotation. That's the key to this squad, that's for sure. Remember last year when they went on a 22-game win streak and that starting rotation posted like a sub-1 ERA? They're going to continue to do that, hopefully, for you this year, Ethan. And Kay said the Mets will win the World Series this year because I really, really need them to. Kay, that is a really awesome, rational answer, and I feel you on that. Thank you so much for everyone for submitting those answers. Really appreciate it. And we will continue to do this next week, so hopefully you also follow through. All right, so final story here. If I give you 100 guesses as to the first player to hit a spring training home run this season, you wouldn't be able to guess who did it. That's because it was a guy who you probably haven't really heard that much about. His name's Kyrie Washington, and he is with the Boston Red Sox, 23-year-old who spent last year with the Class A Salem Red Sox. And there is the home run. Congratulations to him for pulling this off. We saw this yesterday against Arizona State. And, 15-2 at the bottom of the third. Boston was doing a real good job there. So hopefully they continue that throughout the season, especially for Sean, who's a big Red Sox fan. All right, that's going to do it for this Friday edition. Baseball is back, everyone. I know you are just as excited as we are, and we are going to take you right now to George M. Steinbrenner Field down there in Tampa. You got the Tigers and the Yankees. Remember, 1:05 p.m. start. We're about 5 minutes away. Aaron Judge is out in this one. No worries, though. We're just going to get him some extra rest. Giancarlo Stanton is in, though. He is hitting second, so you want to see some Stanton homers, possibly. Make sure you check this out. All right, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Have an amazing weekend. Baseball is back. We'll see you Monday.